AI is going to radically change the landscape of photography from now until forever. But there is one thing that AI is going to be incapable of replacing. How's it? There's, there's talk about AI and it's going to make photographers redundant. But my feeling is that there's one real thing that when you look at a photograph that's made by a real photographer, there's a discernible difference, and that is the passion of the photographer, the artist. They inject something into those images that AI can't replicate. And today I want to celebrate photographers on YouTube who are embodying this passion. Ari Yarksi runs Shoot on Film. He's a photographer from Finland, and as the name suggests, he is completely photographing on film. And he says in his bio that photography is a lifestyle, that the process is as important as the outcome. I love that. The process is as important as the outcome, that there is no wrong, no right. And when you watch his images, or his films rather, you can see this coming out. I love that alchemy aspect of photography. It's what drew me into the art form in the first place, seeing images transform before your eyes, going into the dark room, loading that canister and seeing what comes out the other side. To see and listen to him talk about his own experiences is so wonderfully I don't use the word inspiring. People have said I use it a lot, but it is inspiring. And he thinks about photography as well. It's not just a how-to guide. I would highly recommend checking out his channel. Courtney Victoria, she absolutely sums up for me the passion and the fun that goes into photography. Because we should remember that this is supposed to be fun. She does these quirky little dances and just gets a bit goofball from time to time. Things don't work. And I love the way that she has embraced the mistakes. That is not just perfect. We all know that kind of photographer who's out there making videos or showing images that is just so. It's all about how wonderful they are. And it's refreshing to see that there are photographers starting to embrace the chaos that comes with being out there in the wild, all the things that happen. Her landscape photography is wonderful. Her approach to talking and thinking about photography is great. And this is a common theme with all of these channels, is that they discuss not just f-stops and lenses, but things that make photography as rewarding as it is. There is no place in the algorithms that govern our lives, it feels like sometimes, to put passion in there. If passion were a source or something that could be quantified, then these channels would have far more subscribers than they do, but they don't. And I want you to help all the people who are sharing their passion by subscribing to the channel. Watch a video or two, leave a comment. Tell them that, you appreciate what they do. Some of them will not be for you. Some of them you might go instantly, wow, I love that. But at least recognize them and say, thank you for making a difference. Layering in photography is a real skill. I'm not talking about layers in Photoshop. I'm talking about compositional layering. Alex Webb is like a huge master. And I came across a website, a YouTube channel that was suggested in the post that I asked last year. And I think Ted Forbes recently talked about them, but called the Raw Society. They are founded by Christelle Enquist and Jorge. I don't know. Do you know, I'm so sorry. I really I struggle so much with pronunciations of names, especially Spanish and French and what have you. So Delgado, I'm going to put it up on screen, right? And I'm, again, deeply apologetic for not being able to pronounce your name. I'm so sorry. But they founded this Raw Society, and they're focusing on street travel, documentary photography, and they kind of talk about that they're promoting and teaching and creating a community within these pillars of photography. And going back to that idea about, you know, the layering in photography, I watched one of the videos, and it's so great to see a presentation that takes what can be quite difficult concepts in photography and distills them down into a way that people who have just the most basic of knowledge of ability to using camera can at least attempt these things. I think that's a wonderful thing. Removing a lot of the gatekeepers who are saying you need to spend millions of hours and stuff like that learning about these things and understanding it inside and out before you can attempt it. We want to encourage people to pick up a camera, to try these things. What do you think about the whole thing of AI? You know, is it going to be a good thing for photography? I think it will be. I think it will help immensely. But I also feel that there were certain things that it will never ever replace, like we're talking about, you know, passion. And what other things do you think could never be replaced by AI? I'd be interested to see your thoughts. Tim Jamieson is, according to his bio, a street photographer in England. And he says that the channel that he created is about sharing his passion, there's that word again, for street photography. And most importantly, passing on the knowledge that he's gained over the years of hitting his streets with the camera. And there's another line in his bio that I absolutely adore. It says, I am focused more on the how and the why of street photography rather than the gear. Jamie, we are all on the same page here, man. This is, you know, I love this thing. Sharing the knowledge. This is what I really wish we could get more of on YouTube, of people not just talking about how they made a certain photograph or what have you, but the experiences, the things that they have gathered over the years, all of those little nuggets of information that can build up over time. Sometimes they can become too much and they can overwhelm your head and just get really just wow. And I'll talk a little bit about that later on at the end of the video. I've got something special to share with you. But you know, to have the capability and the wherewithal and the desire to share that information, I think should be applauded. Once again, I want to say to you, please, you know, support these channels. Watch a couple of their videos. It may take 5, 10, 15 minutes of your time, but to that creator, that person who is making this content, sharing it with you, then it is so valuable. If you like yellow, then you're going to love Sarah Lindsay. She's a landscape and self-portrait photographer from Canada. I think she's based up in Alberta. And her bio says she's widely known for my long exposure photography, which adds drama and edge to the landscape photographs, and as ethereal self-portraiture. And I watched a couple of her videos, where she's specifically like this yellow dress that she has, this kind of wavy sort of thing. She goes off to sand dunes and takes it. And once again, like Courtney, Victoria, who also features in this video, she's having fun. She's playing with the thing. She's a bit, you know, same sort of goofball. And that's always refreshing. It's nice to have a yin and a yang. Younger people, you know, just playing with photography, having fun with it. That's wonderful. Awesome. That is so cool to see that it is not, as I sometimes feel photography can be, just the exclusive domain of the fuddy-duddy. You know, we've all been to camera shows. We've all seen, you know, we've all seen the fuddy-duddies and stuff. But, you know, it's everybody who I've encountered on this channel, in the comments and through, you know, mentoring, all these kind of things. Everybody has this kind of fun. They want to play with photography, you know, rather than being very earnest, very serious about it. You know, there is also that kind of fun aspect which I adore. And you know, Sarah, so she leans into that so heavily. It is a joy to watch her just kind of muck around with this yellow dress. Earlier I talked about nuggets of information and experience we build up as photographers, and over the years they can be extremely helpful, but they can also make us feel sluggish. And often that's the reason that you're feeling frustrated with your photographs, that you're not quite sure where to go with them. And I've put together a framework, which I'm going to be releasing at the end of May, which is going to help clear out all of that and make you feel more confident and you know, creative with a camera. But I need your help. I would like you to join me on the pre-sale section of this to help me just polish off the edges, make sure it's the very best that this framework can be. So to find out more about this and how you can get involved, please click on the link below in the description. Zach Dobson is a professional photographer and content creator, and he has this channel where he talks about the all-time great photographers, much like I enjoy looking at them and sometimes sharing with you guys, and talking about photographs that have depth and emotion. And I think one of the things that somewhat separates him apart is that he's got 20 years experience, that he's been photographing for Fortune 100 companies, and he does pro sports and tourism bureaus and has a degree in journalism and all sorts of things that he can then talk about photography in a knowledgeable way. And I need to make a distinction here between like people who are passionate about things and going, I really love this, and that's perfectly fine, because sometimes we just have to not overanalyze things and break it down and discuss why X, Y, and Z things happened, and just go, wow, I love the photo, it makes me feel awesome. But sometimes you also kind of want to sit there and go, do you know, it's interesting to see why this works. Why does this photograph resonate with people? What has the photographer done? And having a bit more of a background, a bit more of an academic leaning towards this certainly helps bring all those things together. I'm so pleased. I keep saying I'm so pleased because I am. This is what I love to talk about, is to share photography. I love sharing photographers and their works. I love talking about photography, and I'm wonderful to see that when I ask people to suggest photography, that these and many other channels are all suggested, and it's wonderful. Recently I saw a video by a channel called Imitative Photography. Now the bio is succinct to the point of like brusqueness. Just says exploring photography through imitation, and that's it. And that video that I saw was about Trent Park, famous Australian photographer, has some wonderful approaches with light. And it wasn't so much, we're going to talk about the photograph and why it does this and why it does that, and how's that. He goes out into the field and he tries to recreate these images. And this is an important aspect. I think that I'm so pleased that there is a channel that does this, because often we are told, here's a preset, you can get a picture like this and get a picture like that, or this is how you do this. And you're not seeing the struggles, you're not learning how to not make the photograph. You're not learning the mistakes, right? So that means if you learn to just copy something, as soon as things go a bit pear-shaped, you can't copy it anymore. But this guy from Canada is going out there, he's showing us what he's doing, how the process, what's kind of working, what's sort of not working. And that's a wonderful experiment for anybody who's interested in, really working on building up their skills in problem solving. A lot of photography is about problem solving, and this channel is a wonderful resource for anybody who wants to get over that, just really explore the edges of photography. Once again, I thank you so much for watching this video, and support those channels. If you'd like to see more about photography on YouTube that is hidden from you, check out this video over here. Thank you ever so much, and I will see you again soon.